Dana was asked about Nick Diaz returning, and Dana responded and said, I'm not sure if Nick's ever coming back. Now, if you guys were to ask me my opinion, and I just talked to Nate yesterday, by the way, I did not ask Nate about Nick, but the point I'm trying to make is I have access, I could ask these questions, I could bring them to you guys, and I would choose to word it the same way that Dana did, which is I'm not sure he's coming back, but are Dana and I being a little bit dense along with the rest of you? What is it we're not sure about? You have a guy who's removed himself from the sport for 5 years, who came back and documented himself getting back into shape, flirted the idea that he might even return at 155 pounds, his last fight being at 185 pounds, his perennial weight class being 170 pounds, and there's no contract signed, there's no return, and there's nothing imminent. I mean, as much as we want to say we're not sure, how long do we live in the purgatory of not being sure? With what clue could we be presented so that we are sure? I mean, how many more clues do we need before we come to the finality of a decision that he's not coming back? And it makes for a tough thing, too. Where do you come back at? He's a huge name. A return of Nick Diaz would be when Nick Diaz flirted a return, it was huge. I will get a huge response for making a video talking about his return. I mean, some things don't lie. Numbers are one of them. My YouTube page is not only audited, it's publicly audited. And you will see how many people are going to click on this because the title says Nick Diaz in it. In all fairness, his return is going to be huge. So if we can concede to that, which we're forced to, then we know he's coming back into a main event spot. Do you want to take a guy who's been on the shelf for 5 years and put him in a 5-round fight? If you come to the conclusion that you do, who are you going to put him with? He's not ranked in the top 10. He's not. Do they go all the way to 15 now? I think the rankings are so damn weird that they've added another 5, right? Like it's NCAA football. But he's not in it. Whatever they are, he's not in it. So who else, like Nick, can go into a main event and is not in the top 15? Nobody. At any of the weight classes I named. He is an anomaly. So the fact that he's back, that he's in shape, that was 9 weeks ago. I mean, how fast time has gone, but that Instagram story of Nick coming back and being in great shape and seeing these training videos and him taking his shirt off and he's all ripped up and he's weighing 168 pounds under the 170-pound limit, which is what dangled 155 for you. What more evidence do we need to come to a definitive conclusion that we're meeting about meeting and talking about talking? It's one of these, because I'm not ready to let it go either. I'm ready to be teased as well. But it's one of these things. John Jones's camp, just to make a comparison for you, is talking about John is in a better place than he's ever been. And I'm kind of looking at it going, okay, if an athlete is in a better place than he's ever been, but he's not competing, what is it that's going so well? What does that mean? If a guy has one thing to his identity, which is his performance, but he's electing to not perform, what is it that's going so well? And how bad were things before we got here? Because 2 + 2 is not equaling 4 on this. If you have an athlete who's left the title behind, pursuing another division, has done neither, does not have a contract signed, is not within training camp, it sounds like you have an athlete with a lot of time on his hands. I met Roy Jones Jr.'s manager. A very nice guy. A guy that I like tremendously, but when he was name dropping that he's Roy Jones Jr.'s manager, all he's telling me is he's unemployed.